So, Catherine, I appreciate you you agreeing to the session, the videotape, and so on, so that Jill and I can do some work with you and help to transform some things you're concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to happen the first while is that Jill is going to be focusing on your Akashic records, your soul records with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll sit back, and then we'll use that information to go more deeply to help transform the concerns that you have.
Okay, great. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. All right, so so you gave me a list of things you wanted to focus on too, Catherine, so we'll make sure and get that. And right now I'll just start with your soul profile. So what I do is I just look at your Akashic records and get a picture of who you are as a soul, some of the gifts you have, challenges, just a portrait. It's kind of like astrology, but on the soul level.
Okay.
So jump in with any questions you have or anything you want to ask or say.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so you're a very advanced soul, which means that you're not new to the planet and you're not new to soul lessons. So you came here this lifetime to really focus in and learn some advanced lessons for yourself and also to serve very broadly as a soul. So I'm really excited to do this session with you. So you're what I call a guardian of Earth, which means that you came here to help learn about and educate people and protect the Earth specifically from some dark energies that have been influencing humanity for a long time. So, and you mentioned darkness in your studio,
Yes.
and I also get that that's been an issue for you in relationship, which is another part. So you've drawn it to you in order to learn. So I'm glad we're doing this, because part of what we do is help transform darkness and in the environment as well as inside us, and also to help teach you how to do that, because that was one of your things that you wanted to learn. So
Yes.
you came to the right place. So people with your soul signature actually spend most of their time serving as guides, not hanging out on the planet. So you're unusual in that you've been here more than most because you really wanted to get it. You really wanted to learn about Earth and what this place was like and how you could help. So you've sent yourself all over the place to learn, and now this lifetime, it feels to me like it's a culmination of a lot of things you've learned from a lot of lifetimes. So I'm getting chills as I say that. It's an exciting lifetime for you, and also has come with a lot of challenges. So there's a lot of transformational work for you to do, but the rewards are really great too. So both of those are true. You came in to clear a lot. It's almost like you wanted to just wipe the slate clean this lifetime. You just want to be all out with the old and in completely with the new. So you chose a challenging family to incarnate with. You've chosen a lot of challenging situations in your life so that you could clear a lot of old stuff and so you could be as powerful as you wanted to be this lifetime. So you came for yourself, but you also came for the planet. So your service is incredibly important to you. That's apparent in what you do.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more levels and layers to that even for you. So you're an unusual person. I'm guessing you probably didn't fit in middle school very well.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Like your concerns are just not the concerns of the average human, the average person. You just have no interest in superficiality whatsoever, not a bit.
Yeah.
It's got to be deep and real and meaningful, or forget it. And I get that social justice came to you pretty early in your life. Like you
Yes.
just said, I want to do more than just sit here on this planet and put on makeup and listen to music. I'm going to make a difference. So it feels like that became conscious for you very early in your life. So that was really clear. Because you're quite young and already have years doing this. So you got started right off the bat. You just didn't want to mess around whatsoever.
Yes.
Which is great. Yeah. And you do have a big mission to do here. Everyone from your soul group does. And sometimes it can, not sometimes, I would say often you felt overwhelmed by the task at hand. Like, oh my gosh. Because you see very broadly what needs to be done on the planet. And even though you're already doing a lot, you feel like it's too small, or I want to go bigger, I want to do more. So it's like, so part of your challenge is to learn what your role is and to let the rest go. Surrender it, because otherwise you can just keep putting more and more in your backpack and get very burdened.
Yeah.
And that's not how you need to be liked, you need to be inspired, and you need to be, you need to have enthusiasm for what you do. And if you keep taking on everybody else's job and putting it in your pack, so we'll clear that tendency for you too. Is there something you want to say about that?
No, you just hit the nail on the head. 'Cause that's something that I realize I can't save everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I know that's what I've been doing. I mean, I make a living from it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
right.
That's a whole other thing. You
Yeah.
know? So I've come to recognize that's been a huge. It's been a patterning that I've come to recognize more so lately than anything. It's just
Yeah.
kind of really surfaced its ugly head, so to speak.
Yeah.
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 And that's true for you in relationships too.
Yeah. Yep.
You tend to have projects instead of partners.
So true.
So
Yeah.
that's true, yes. So one of the things we're going to help you do is to separate your work from your personal life and your satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you're saying now, I'm tuning into your studio, you said there were a lot of dark energies there. You're drawn to darkness for a reason, because you're here to learn how to transform it. However, you don't have to live there,
Yeah.
and you don't have to marry it.
Yeah.
So it's separating like what's work and what's home and my personal life. Because you're just give all the time, so it's also learning how to receive and how to take it, how to rest. Because you're quite young, you've been burning the candle at both ends for a long time.
Yep.
You take on challenge after challenge after challenge. However, eventually that's going to show up as, you know, stress, illness, or, you know, something that you just don't have to create. So learning how to slow down and it's really how to delineate your mission and your work, and then your the other parts of your life. Like, so you don't have to create in darkness. You can go transform it, but then your studio is filled with light and beauty.
Yes.
So that's a main thing for you. And this is really common for advanced souls who came here to serve. We just want to be working all the time because we know there's so much to do. However, it can really backfire on us. So you're already feeling
Yes,
some of that.
yeah, especially this last year, yeah.
Yeah. You also have, it's interesting, it'll be interesting to unpack your work more too and see, you know, it feels like it's right on par with your mission, absolutely. But you also have a role to serve, I would say, as a role model to other really unusual advanced souls too. Like, they look to you and go, oh, she's doing something very outside the box and making a difference. So what you do is important also for the younger people who will come after you to see that view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always say the hamster in the wheel is always running, because it's like, that's just how I operate.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like always ideas are sparking,
Yeah.
and that's part of your creative, you know, what part of makes you so
Yes.
creative too.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful. You're also just a natural teacher in what you do. So it just comes to you very easily. Yeah. Yeah.
Always
So,
has, like,
yeah.
even as a young child, I automatically took that role.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was, it's something that I've always, I just didn't know how it was going to manifest, because I knew that I wasn't going to go to school to be like a primary school teacher.
Yeah.
I knew that I knew that I was here to do something important, and that whatever it was, my work was going to serve as a teaching, whatever creative work I was going to
Yeah.
do. So I knew that
Yeah.
very early on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of you living your mission, you are right on. It's just getting your personal happiness up and tweaking so that you can let go of some luggage that just gets in your way. Yeah. And so you can heal that and then step forward more broadly with more joy. With more joy. Because you came, the 3 words I got for you in terms of life energies that you're playing with, the first was enthusiasm.
Yeah.
So this is not meant to be dark and heavy, even though you're doing battle
Oh yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
But enthusiasm is the first word. So you're also meant to just love life. Love what you do. Love your life.
Yeah.
Compassion is the second word I got. That's all over you. I mean, that's just clearly, you wouldn't do anything if it weren't for the good of the earth. You just wouldn't do it. It's just
has
not
no interest.
Yeah, no interest. So that's there. And learning is the other thing. So it's learning about just about everything. You just love to learn. I can see that. So teaching and learning is a big part of your life as well.
Yeah.
And also learning individual lessons and learning, it's like learning how to be you on this planet. Learning how to give your gifts but also receive and keep yourself going in a way that's joyful rather than just the hamster in the wheel all the time.
Yeah. This is true. Yeah.
So you have 2 primary chakras that you're working with. The first is the 6th, so that's this energy center of intuition. So you're incredibly intuitive, we can see that. But it's also the realm of the spiritual warrior, which you just decided to come in and take it on. So you've got this really strong, very strong yang side, very fierce energy, like you can if something's out of line or out of balance, it's also the realm of divine truth. You want to tell it like you see it. You want to go fix it right away. So you've got the Joan of Arc, you think of that, the Joan of Arc mentality. So again, that is absolutely fabulous, and it can be balanced by the softer goddess too, that she can come in more, so you can just relax a bit more and also receive. This is a big lesson for you, is how to receive.
Yes.
Also, you have past life wounding around speaking your truth, so it's interesting. It's like that's what, and also from your childhood, your truth was not very welcome.
Mm-hmm.
So there's healing that can be done around that, blockages around you really fully speaking, because you're doing great with it. I mean, you're really out there, and there can be more, because there's still times where you go, oh, or you second guess yourself. I actually get that this shows up more in relationship than it does in your work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
So
agree.
to learn how to speak your truth in a way that you get your needs met too is a great thing. So we'll unpack do some of the healing. Then your second one is your force. So that's the realm of the healer. So you have, what I get is you, and that love has to be a part of everything you do. It's just has to be there, or forget it. So so you love what you do clearly, but I actually get when you're working with the fabrics, it's like you're putting love in there. Do you actually work with intention when you? Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So I get chills as I say that. So know that love is going out into the planet, and the people who wear your clothes get that love.
Yes.
So you're serving with that too, and you already know that. But that it's just incredibly important. Also, it means that when we have this as primary, we're also learning lessons around love. So again, attracting relationships where we have to learn and grow and get challenged and all that. But for you to feel fully happy, being in a really healthy love relationship is something you really, really want.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do what we can to clear what stands in the way of that. And also emotional healing is a focus of your life, and also feels like, I don't know if you'll be directly doing that with others, but your own emotional healing is going to be healing for others. Like even just sitting here with us, telling your story. Like you're very out there with who you are. Like, this is my story and I'm going to heal it. So giving that to the world is an incredible gift that you have. So even if somebody comes to you and says, oh, I want to go to art school, but my parents think I should be a lawyer, you can share in a very real way. Does that actually happen to you?
Yes, yeah.
So serving as a mentor, but also being very open with who you are and your own wounds is very healing for the people around you. And also, you already know this, you're not happy unless you're serving.
Yes.
But you've done that already, you're going to continue to do that. That's not an issue. So you're right in line with that. I'm going to pause and see if you want to say anything or questions. Or...
Not right now. I
Okay.
mean, I really can relate to everything that you're saying. It's just kind of nice to have validation for something I already know, because you can't always, I have a really good support now, people that kind of understand me, because we share a similar, set of knowing. But, it's not easy, not everybody understands.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to kind of be able to, I feel like it's very timely, everything.
Great.
So it's just nice to be able to have this experience, to be able to heal through this, and to, meet other people that can, obviously help share that.
To be really seen.
Yeah, exactly.
And it is, this is nothing your soul knows all this, of course, so it's just me speaking it and you going, yeah. So the inner bells going off. I love that.
That's good.
Okay, so you are drawn to dark places, and the goal is not to live there and not to get stuck there, but to transform. So we'll work with you, because you asked very directly for tools for that. So we'll definitely, Remi's been doing this for years, and I'm joining him in that, so we'll definitely work with you on that, because that's going to be a key to your life, a big key. Yeah. So let's see, what else do I want to say before we jump into the, it's important for you to live in good energy. So to give yourself permission, if a place does feel dark, like your studio, to do transforming, but not to stay there, not to live. If you can't transform it, or you don't have to live there. So it's like you're taking your work home with you. because your space, it feels like you absorb so much around you and you're sensitive. So to live in some place that feels really good, where you can feel enthusiastic, where you can be fed, so nourished,
absolutely, yes.
then you can go out and do more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a breathing.
Mm-hmm.
You get to come home, and then go out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in darkness all the time, then you can get burnout because you're absorbing negativity and all that. So give yourself permission that your home is your sanctuary, your studio is your sanctuary. It's important for you to have a place to go that feels really, and nature, as you know, that's really huge for you. So to live near nature or have a view out to nature, not buildings and noise, because that scatters your field too. So if you can't live that way, make sure you spend a lot of time to rebalance yourself. It feels like you can rebalance like that.
Yeah,
it's true. Really quickly.
Yeah,
that's amazing, actually.
Yeah, it's quite profound to experience, actually.
Yeah.
Just even, especially, that's one of the reasons why I know I was brought out to the West Coast, because I'm originally from Eastern Canada, well, Ontario.
Yeah.
But just be able to go up to the mountains, it's like a short little trip.
Yeah.
You know, I love cities, but I have to be near, nature. It's very integral to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, good. So you already know that about yourself. Yeah, so again, need to be off the job sometime, differentiate between where you live and where you work, and receive and give to yourself. I'm going to pause there. There's a lot more I could say, but I want to jump into healing. And I have some things to say about love and relationship and career, etc. But I'll pause now, let Remi start some healing, and then we'll dance with that.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, wonderful.
All right.
Great. Is there anything you want to say or ask before I jump in?
Well, yeah, because it's something that I didn't get to address, in the questions, was that actually this last year I was very sick as a result of being in the studio, and which was I've never been so sick in my life, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And they diagnosed certain things with me, a type of kidney disease, genetic kidney disease. But there were several other things that I was debilitated for 8 months.
Wow.
So I was in constant pain, nausea. It was something not even the doctors could really understand what was going on with me, and so just through certain people that I met, and after I had a particular entity that was attached to me, I met with a shaman who detached it, and that, my sickness went away, and even the doctors, after I actually had surgery, couldn't find anything, but just around that same time that entity got detached from me, that's when, boom, I was back to normal. It took me a little while to get my energy, but I had no energy. And for me, not to be able to create, not to be able to, I couldn't even function. So it was I had to leave grad school. I couldn't, work in my studio, and so I've learned a lot about the space. In this last year, and it's one of those things that I just, I don't want to be in a position where I ever become that sick again. Yeah. So if that helps you. Yeah. It's not really a question. I just feel like I needed to declare that because,
Yeah.
Okay, good. So anything else you want to say or ask before I jump in?
No.
Okay. Jill and I work kind of differently, so the stuff that she puts on the table really helps me to be able to see more broadly and to help transform. But I also need some background from you in terms of our childhood and so forth. But before we do that, how about we focus a little bit on doing some healing work, and then I'll jump in with a few questions, and then we'll go back and forth like that. Good. Okay. So one of the things that I have the ability to do is I can check in energetically to a particular place, like your studio, for example, and see if there's energies there that are stuck that need to be removed and so on. So you talked about there's some negativity in your studio. Is that all the time, or on and off, or how does this work?
It's been interesting. When I first moved in there, that first year, I actually didn't really detect anything that was in there. As part of my thesis research project, I was working with secondhand clothing, and it brought a particular entity in there that activated a lot of dormant energy, negative energy that was in the space. And the last 2 years have been, I can't even begin to describe what I've experienced in there. And as of lately, it's touch and go. It comes and goes. In particular to one storage room that's located off of the main part of my studio. And so it's to the point where I mean I can see them, but this is something I want to, yeah.
So you work with materials from various places, leftover materials from places that make clothing and so
Yes,
on, right?
and typically I work with pre-consumer waste and not post. So I usually work with stuff that hasn't had anything, any historical attachment to it, no energy aside from it just something happened in the manufacturing process. So these haven't had a life yet. Yeah.
Well,
Which is
sort of.
Yeah, sort of. Yes, I know. True.
So do you know where the material comes from?
Yes, I know exactly where the material comes from. Yeah.
Where?
Yeah. Where?
Yeah.
I work with.
Where is it made?
It's made in Montreal. Actually, I work with 2 hosiery companies in Montreal.
I don't mean where your products are made. I mean where the cloth is
The
actually
cloth.
made.
No, the cloth is actually made. I work
Made
with
in
a
Montreal.
hosiery. Like it's produced in the tubes, in tube formations, and something's gone on in the manufacturing of the actual cloth and that material. And so and most of it is, to the naked eye, no one would know there's an imperfection, but for manufacturing standards, it's discarded. So I buy up all of that material, and then it comes to me as gray goods, and then I go through the process of dyeing and printing and transforming it. But I have worked with secondhand clothing, which is a whole other, which has gotten me into a lot of trouble.